I used to work in a foreign company, um, as a salesman, a director of the sales department, but not anymore. I'm 37 years old this year. I have no wife, no house, no money. I'm also in debt. Nowadays, I just make a living by doing all kinds of part-time jobs. See, sometimes even being a delivery guy. It's not so stable. Since you know what happened in the past few years, right? So a lot of people just got fired, and the company just, you know, went bankruptcy. That's what I'm saying.
Meet Cho, a delivery driver who once spent 10 years working hard in school. He had a middle-class life as a supervisor at a foreign company, comfortable, though not without anxiety. But everything changed in just a few short years. As large-scale layoffs hit foreign firms in China, Cho found himself among those optimized out. Now, more than a decade later, he's back at square one, doing odd jobs and flexible work to make ends meet. His priority is to pay off his debts before starting fresh. Cho's story reflects the struggles of many who have lost jobs in foreign companies. These layoffs not only impact individuals like him, but also families that rely on these jobs for their livelihoods.
Reality hit hard. A 37-year-old with a master's degree from a top university now can't even cover basic household expenses of over 20,000 yuan a month. Both my wife and I are unemployed. I used to make 35,000 yuan a month, and she made around 12,000. Together, including bonuses, we brought in 40,000 to 50,000 yuan. But everything changed overnight. As an AI project director, I dedicated 8 years to my company, and still I was laid off. I never imagined this would happen, not even in my worst nightmares.
Now, with a 20,000 yuan monthly mortgage, the couple is on the brink of default. Losing their jobs has thrown the family into crisis.
Hello, 朋友们。
Hi, friends. Today marks my official unemployment. The last working day in August was also the end of my 6-year career at a foreign firm. On the surface, I seemed calm, but deep down, anxiety was bubbling over. I returned my office equipment today. I wanted to say that things would get better, but I know such a good job might never come again. 2-day weekends, full insurance, extra medical benefits for my child, over 20 days of annual leave. It was ideal. They even deposited my August salary and severance pay, plus a prorated 2024 bonus into my account before I handed over my laptop. I worked hard for 6 years in a supportive environment with great colleagues and minimal overtime. It's hard to let go, but in today's economic climate, what choice do I have? At 33, I'm 2 years away from my workplace's 35-year-old age limit, yet some job postings openly state that they only accept candidates under 28. I thought I was still young, but I'm already seen as middle-aged. Being in your 30s is tough. Caring for aging parents, raising young kids, and managing a mortgage. The uncertainty ahead is overwhelming. The abrupt layoffs shattered her once stable life. The news weighed heavily in the office, and while everyone tried to stay composed, the anxiety was evident. Her colleagues, once a close-knit group that shared coffee and conversations after work, are now scattered, hustling at different job fairs. The job market is fiercely competitive. Resumes flood companies, yet responses are few. The once coveted foreign company experience no longer holds the same appeal.
If you're from an ordinary family, you should hope that foreign and private companies stay in China. They're often the only way for graduates from regular families to achieve success based on their skills and hard work. If foreign firms leave and private companies close down, the future looks grim for kids from average households. Without foreign firms, they can't access state-owned enterprises. Criticizing foreign and private companies after benefiting from them makes no sense. Whether they're Japanese, American, or any other, foreign companies coming to China is undeniably a good thing.
The exodus of foreign companies has dealt a heavy blow to China's job market. These firms often provide competitive salaries and excellent working conditions. Their departure has led to the loss of many high-quality jobs, intensifying competition and driving up unemployment. Local economies are also suffering. Many areas depend on foreign firms for growth. Their departure reduces government revenues and weakens regional economies.
你知道苏州今年有多少人失业吗？
Do you know how many people lost their jobs in Suzhou this year? You might find it hard to believe. Suzhou, once hailed as the strongest prefecture-level city globally due to its foreign investment, is now seeing companies pull out, moving to Southeast Asia. This year alone, Over 20,000 businesses in Suzhou have closed. Each company, laying off hundreds or even thousands of workers, has left a lasting impact. Suzhou's electronic factories, mostly labor-intensive assembly lines, used to support countless workers. Now, malls are deserted, many have shut down, and office buildings are struggling to find tenants. Even those hanging on are barely surviving. Most delivery and ride-hailing drivers here are university graduates or postgraduates. Stable jobs have become increasingly hard to find.
Rising labor costs in China, coupled with global uncertainty, have led to a growing wave of layoffs in foreign companies. For the first time since 2009, the number of employees in foreign firms in China has fallen below 10 million, dropping to 9.9 million in 2023, a 15% decrease from 2022's lockdown period. Foreign trade and investment once drove China's economic growth and job creation. In 2021, the Ministry of Commerce reported that foreign firms, accounting for only 2% of market entities, directly employed 40 million people, or 1/10 of the urban workforce, and contributed 1/6 of national tax revenue and 2/5 of imports and exports. These firms also indirectly created millions of jobs through their supply chains. Compared to their peak, foreign firm employment has dropped by 30 million, meaning 30 million people have lost these jobs. In the third quarter of 2023, China's direct investment liabilities fell by $8.1 billion, according to the State Administration of Foreign Exchange. This measure of foreign direct investment, FDI, declined by nearly $13 billion in the first 9 months of 2023. If this trend continues, the fourth quarter could see even more outflows, potentially marking the first net annual FDI outflow since 1990. FDI is a vital capital source that fuels national development by transferring assets, management, and technology to boost economic growth. The first major disruption of foreign investment in China occurred during the second quarter of 2022, when Shanghai's COVID-19 lockdowns caused foreign direct investment to turn negative for the first time, signaling significant capital outflows. The decision of foreign companies to abandon long-established supply chains in China, even at the cost of paying massive severance to employees, reflects the growing challenges they face. Recently, Professor Liang Yan from Willamette University explained that China's market environment is becoming increasingly complex. On one hand, companies are cutting jobs to reduce operational costs and improve efficiency. On the other, geopolitical tensions are forcing some to reconsider their global strategies. The rising uncertainty has made foreign firms more cautious about their investments in China. The situation is further complicated by Donald Trump's victory in the November U.S. election. His second term may bring a 60% tariff on Chinese goods, expanding the U.S.-China trade war and worsening relations between the two nations. Political factors also play a critical role. The Chinese government's amendments to its anti-espionage law in July 2023 have heightened risks for foreign companies operating in the country, causing widespread concern. Businesses now face discriminatory practices, and in some cases, the government has even threatened to detain employees. Tightening regulations and a worsening business environment have hit China's capital markets hard, accelerating the departure of foreign firms. Here are some major multinational corporations that have reduced or withdrawn operations in China this year. Fidelity International. In October 2024, the company announced layoffs of about 500 employees, primarily in its China operations, citing market changes and strategic adjustments. Cisco. In September 2024, Cisco laid off 300 employees at its Dalian factory as part of a global 7% workforce reduction plan. Earlier in February, Cisco had already laid off 4,000 employees. The company is reportedly shifting most of its operations to India or Japan to improve efficiency and reduce costs. IBM. In August 2024, IBM closed its R&D departments in Beijing, Shanghai, and Dalian, cutting over 1,000 jobs. IBM stated the move aims to concentrate resources on R&D centers in other regions and to boost global competitiveness. Microsoft. In May 2024, Microsoft announced it was shutting down its AI team in China. Many employees in Beijing and Shanghai received emails asking if they were willing to relocate to other regions such as the US, Australia, or Ireland. This adjustment impacted 800 employees. Amazon. In April 2024, Amazon announced hundreds of layoffs in its China-based cloud computing division to improve operational efficiency and reduce costs. In addition to tech giants, many multinational manufacturing firms have scaled back operations in China. Volkswagen. In September 2024, Volkswagen announced plans to close its Nanjing joint venture factory with SAIC Group next year. This follows the closure of a Shanghai plant 2 years ago. Reports suggest more closures may follow as demand for internal combustion engine vehicles declines. Hino Motors, Toyota. In September 2024, Hino Motors announced it would stop producing diesel engines in China. Its local subsidiary ceased operations by the end of September. Honda's second joint venture factory in Wuhan ceased operations entirely in late August, leaving 2,500 employees jobless. This decision was driven by poor sales performance in China. Lebherr, Switzerland. In early August, Lebherr announced the closure of its concrete business factory in Suzhou after reassessing China's demand for concrete equipment. Konica Minolta, Japan. In late August, the company revealed plans to shut down its Wuxi factory entirely by next year, laying off more than 1,300 employees due to mounting competitive pressures in China. These developments highlight the profound challenges foreign companies face in China's increasingly uncertain and restrictive market environment. In July, Nippon Steel announced its withdrawal from Baosteel Nippon Steel Automotive Steel Company, a joint venture with Shanghai Baosteel. Nippon Steel transferred its 50% stake to Baosteel, which agreed to pay approximately 1.8 billion yuan or $250 million for the shares. On July 12, Kato Works, a Japanese engineering machinery company, officially exited the Chinese markets and dissolved its joint factory in Kunshan. The company cited financial difficulties over the past 2 to 3 years. Meanwhile, its joint venture in Xiamen continued production until August before initiating liquidation procedures. On June 21st, Nissan Motors announced it would cease operations at its Changzhou plant, which had an annual output of 130,000 vehicles, accounting for about 10% of China's total production. Approximately 300 employees at the plant were laid off. In April, Dell announced that its Xiamen factory had reduced its workforce by 50%, and its sales team was significantly downsized, with 120 employees leaving by the end of March. Dell's management in China also underwent major challenges. Reports indicate that Dell plans to shift 50% of its production capacity out of China by the end of 2025. On February 29th, tire company Bridgestone officially closed its production plant in Shenyang, laying off over 1,200 workers. This decision came after the company reassessed its demand for tires in the Chinese market. In April, Taiwanese company Innolux, China's largest LCD panel manufacturer, announced the closure of its Nanjing factory, laying off 2,400 employees. The decision was based on a reassessment of the market demand for LCD panels in China. Beyond Innolux, Taiwanese businesses have also been accelerating their exit from China. A September study by the Center for Strategic and International Studies revealed that 57% of Taiwanese firms are either in the process of leaving or considering leaving the Chinese market. The departure of these top-tier multinational companies has dealt a severe blow to Chinese manufacturers that relied on them for products and services. These companies, once integral to their supply chain, are now struggling to survive. In this environment, private Chinese companies are facing the worst challenges in 40 years. Those that depended on foreign firms for their business operations have lost their lifeline. Many have had to halt operations or relocate to Southeast Asia, leaving workers unemployed. Rising production costs, plummeting orders, financing difficulties, and high taxes are forcing private business owners to endure sleepless nights and constant anxiety. Experts are urging Chinese citizens not to adopt xenophobic attitudes or attack foreign companies. Such advice reflects a deep understanding of globalization and market dynamics. Foreign investments in China have created countless jobs, facilitated technological transfers, and driven industrial upgrades. However, extreme nationalism and hostility from some groups, such as nationalistic Little Pinks, have undermined foreign investors' confidence and worsened the already challenging business environment in China. In this increasingly harsh business climate, many companies are resorting to layoffs, pay cuts, or even closing down. Employees are left with feelings of unease and uncertainty about their future, struggling to ensure their families' livelihoods. The pervasive atmosphere of anxiety highlights a grim reality. The hardships for ordinary people are expected to worsen in 2025.